Good afternoon, time now for News at 12. Let's look at the headlines. The suspension slapped on KAFUE Town Council lifted. Government calls for proper city planning as floods devastate Lusaka households. In our international headlines, Russian Navy frigate docks in South Africa for drills. We have more after this message.
Hi ladies and gentlemen, I'm Cholwe from Cho's Fitness Gym. We're a fully functional gym located along Twin Palm Road in Kablonga, right by Cheshire Homes Society of Zambia. So we have various classes that happen from Monday to Friday. We have aerobics, we have boot camp, we have step aerobics, we have spinning, we have kettlebell classes. They happen from 18 to 19 hours every day, and we are open from 06 until 20 hours. That's Monday to Friday. Then Saturdays 6 to 12, and then Sundays we are closed, and most public holidays we are open 6 to 12.
Are you looking for a prime land where to build your dream house? There is a beautiful corner plot, 50 by 47 meters in State Road area. For viewing and purchasing of the same, call SGK Property Company on 0966 610755 or 0762 166018. Secure your future by settling in a nice and peaceful area.
Disaster Management and Mitigation Unit DMMU National Coordinator Gabriel Paulin says solving the flooding problem in Lusaka permanently would need proper city planning as most houses are sitting on drainage land. Speaking when he went to inspect the situation in Lusaka's Kamwala South following cries from residents, Dr. Paulin says as a primary solution, DMMU is distributing powdered chlorine to help stop the spread of waterborne diseases. Meanwhile, Lusaka District Commissioner Rosa Zulu, who was also at the site, has urged affected residents to cooperate with authorities. We have details in this report.
Floods that have hit not only far-flung areas of Zambia but also the capital city Lusaka have negatively affected citizens, with some being displaced due to their houses falling. The greatest concern has been sanitation, as most people have been unable to access the toilet facilities as these too have been flooded, with some pit latrines being submerged. The situation has also led to Kamwala South Health Post being shut down. Wednesday, 15th February 2023, the Disaster Management and Mitigation Unit DMMU visited some affected places in Lusaka, among them Kamwala South, Mass Media, Parliament Motel, as well as part of arcades, to assess the situation. DMMU National Coordinator Dr. Gabriel Paulin says the general observation is that most houses are sitting on places meant for drainages, leaving the areas with no drainage system, a situation which will require long-term measures. He states that as an immediate solution, the water will be directed to well-established drainage systems like the Bombay drainage, and that powdered chlorine will be distributed to prevent the spread of disease.
So what we're doing is that we're providing things like granular or liquid chlorine to help these households cope with potential contamination that's taking place in the water. But we're also encouraging them to look at ways where they can integrate in communities that are not adversely affected until the water recedes. So we are trying to engage the community through what we call stakeholder involvement. The communities are the ones that are adversely affected. The communities sometimes can be the solution to problems that they face. So we continue to engage those communities in that particular way. But at the same time, we're ramping up our efforts in order to ensure that we can avoid any spread of diseases. We are also trying to see if we can provide temporary shelter for clinical services to continue being provided for communities. But the problem that is presented at the clinic there is that we are pumping out the water. It's just the pace at which this pumping out is taking place that is not as fast as the rapidity of the water filling into that area.
Meanwhile, Lusaka District Commissioner Rosa Zulu has advised residents to give room to authorities as they correct the situation.
There's too much resistance. Other people have built along the maybe where the drainage is. Yes. So when you ask them that you need to break their offenses or what, they resist. So we are asking that may they cooperate, because if they don't, they will all be affected. The other thing which I want to maybe ask the owners of the houses is that we have seen people coming out of their houses barefooted. It is not good again. Please, let's make sure that we protect our children, our relatives. Let them not swim in this dead water.
In the meantime, furrows are being dug to reduce flooding in the affected areas. Zipporah Mshala, Camnet News, Lusaka.
Local Government and Rural Development Minister Gary Nkombo has lifted the suspension slapped on KAFUE Town Council in November 2022. Addressing the media in Lusaka Wednesday, Mr. Nkombo says the suspension was based on allegations of illegalities and disorderly location of land at KAFUE Town Council, of which preliminary investigations were concluded on 4th February 2023. Mr. Nkombo explains that the investigations reveals that there has been the issue of double allocation of plots and alleged illegal allocation of land, among other irregularities. Mr. Nkombo says the preliminary investigations will be handed over to the line departments for further investigations and the next course of action. We have details in the following report.
Irregularities in the local authority, otherwise publicly known as the councils, are not new, as most of the councils countrywide have at one time been on the chopping board from the apparent ministry responsible for local government. Lusaka and KAFUE were not so long ago under the knife through a suspension which revealed irregularities involving land dealings. Most recent KAFUE Town Council was suspended on similar allegations by the Minister of Local Government and Rural Development, aimed at paving way for investigations. Mr. Nkombo told the media Wednesday that preliminary investigations revealed a disconnect between the council and the Ministry of Lands, hence having such illegal activities.
Of the foregoing, my ministry will now undertake measures to ensure that all these above irregularities are addressed as soon as possible. Some of the measures will include a very close collaboration between the KAFUE Town Council as well as the Ministry of Lands and Natural Resources to harmonize the issuance of plots to our citizens. This particular revelation about the disconnect between KAFUE Council and the Ministry of Lands is a detail that we must check with all other local authorities, and our suspicion is that the situation is on all fours. Further, my ministry, through the Local Government Service Commission, will take appropriate measures of any member of staff who may be found wanting in the illegal issuance of plots in KAFUE.
The council has served its 3-month suspension, which has been lifted.
In the meantime, pursuant to Section 56(3) of the Local Government Act Number 2 of 2019 of the laws of Zambia, I hereby now lift the suspension that KAFUE Council was set with immediate effect. Ladies and gentlemen, in light of the foregoing, I wish to take the opportunity to issue a stern warning to all the councils that the ministry will not hesitate to prosecute any irregularities and penalize anybody who is found wanting. I wish also to make an appeal to our citizens in the same manner and in the same breath, that please make it your responsibility to ensure that you follow the laid down procedures in the acquisition of land.
Sharon Kalimbula, Camnet News, Lusaka.
And finally, in our international news, the warship named Admiral Goshkov docked in the Cape Town Monday on its way to Durban, where it is scheduled to take part in drills with the South African and Chinese navies. Meanwhile, a bus in northern Liberia is traveling from school to teach school children and women how to use computers. Here's a roundup of international news.
The warship named Admiral Goshkov docked in Cape Town Monday on its way to Durban, where it is scheduled to take part in drills with the South African and Chinese navies. The exercises will take place from February 17th to 27th off the port cities of Durban and Richards Bay. A section of South Africa's political opposition has criticized the drills due to Russia's role in the conflict in Ukraine. The government has defended the drills as necessary for sharing operational skills and knowledge.
In northern Liberia, a yellow bus is traveling from school to teach students how to use computers. The idea is the brainchild of Jeremiah Lloyd Cooper, a 36-year-old information and telecommunications technician. The project began last November, and so far, the founder claims it has reached 1,000 students.
I graduated from high school actually with no basic computer knowledge. I didn't even know how to power on computer, but I went on to choose to study information technology. At a university level, I didn't know how to type, and it was humiliating, experience. So ever since, my dream has been to be able to extend computer literacy to children graduating from high school.
The project is funded by the United Nations Development Fund through Jeremiah's startup, Newbury Tech Hub. The objective is to reach not just school children, but also women.
For each time we reach this new community, the momentum is high. Students are eager, they want to learn, and they even reach for more of our mobile computer lab, reaching them fluently. I just say frequently.
Computer teaching organization that come to enlighten our mind on computer knowledge. Okay. Help you all to learn about computer, how to do our work fast on computer.
According to the World Bank, Liberia is lagging behind in terms of internet. Only 26% of its population used it in 2020.
The Tanzanian government has banned a popular series of children's books from schools in the conservative East African country, claiming they violate local cultural norms. Education Minister Adolf Mkenda announced Monday an immediate ban on the Diary of a Wimpy Kid books and said the government was monitoring libraries in both public and private schools to make sure they were not on their shelves. It was not immediately clear what content in the series of illustrated books by U.S. author Jeff Kinney that followed the life of a schoolboy had offended the authorities. The minister also listed other banned books, including Sex Education, A Guide to Life. Last week, President Samia Suluhu Hassan met university student leaders and asked them to be careful with some imported culture without elaborating. Her comments follow remarks by a senior member of the ruling CCM party, Frank Haule, who claimed that same-sex activity was rampant in universities. In Tanzania, homosexuality is punishable by a minimum sentence of 30 years to life imprisonment.
And on that international note, we call it a wrap. We look at the top stories that made the news. President Hakainde Hichilema urged to remove High Court Judge Wilfred Muma from his office. The suspension slapped on KAFUE Town Council lifted. Government calls for proper city planning as floods devastate Lusaka households. And finally, Russian Navy frigate docks in South Africa for drills. Thank you so much for watching. Good afternoon.